Hello, everybody. I'm George Williams from Northeast Kansas Library System in Lawrence, Kansas. And if I look really big today, it's because I'm on a computer I don't usually use. So if you see me typing and my hands look giant, it's just because of the laptop, okay? And with me as always,
Christopher Brannon from the Coeur d'Alene Public Library and the Cooperative Information Network. And George, I never thought your hands were that big, but okay.
on this laptop, the camera is right down next to the keyboard because this laptop, I really like it. It's a Dell, and the whole thing, the keyboard flips completely underneath, and it can be used as a tablet. So, but why they decided that down here at the bottom, right next to the F7 key, is where the camera should go, I don't know. It also means that you guys will be looking right at my nose the entire time. So
that's not too bad.
So, and as always, we're I'm going to point out that we're sponsored by koha-US, and you can find any of these videos with Enormous Hands and others if you go to the koha-US webpage and click on the Learn page, Learn at the top of the screen, and then scroll down to Watch koha-US original training videos. That's where you can find links to all of the videos we've done. And I'll also, the last few weeks we've been talking about, if you're on the koha-US page, on the top of every page in the header, there's a link to the 2021 conference. That's the conference. It's going to be in McKinney, Texas. This is the cool logo that Jason made. And we still have the link up here that says submit a proposal. By the time you see this video, that will be gone because we stopped taking proposals a couple of weeks ago.
Location, I just got confirmation for the proposals that I did, I'm doing. So
cool.
Looking forward to that.
We'll have the full, by the time this video premieres, we'll have the full schedule up. We've got a conference committee meeting next week, so we'll have the full schedule up, and it'll be time to start, signing up to register. And we've got some, if you're interested in goodies, there's merchandise at the Threadless shop with Jason's cool logo with the koha. The koha koru is in the logo. You can see it there, right?
Where?
It's in the sunglasses.
I'm not sure if I'm.
Well, hold on just a second. Let me, it's right there. You can't miss it. Hold on. You don't see that? It's right there.
What?
Yeah, it's right there.
Oh.
Yeah. Okay.
Silly me. Sorry. Wow.
Okay. So
how did you do that?
Well, if people haven't figured it out yet, I'm actually in Idaho. I'm in Coeur d'Alene. I'm here with my family. We're doing some business with my mother-in-law's house that she's going to sell. And so I'm actually in Coeur d'Alene today, and I'm in the room next to Christopher. He's right behind me. I'm not really in my office, and he's not really in that part of the library. So
not actually a library either. Can you guess what the background is?
No, I can hardly see it. I'd have to stop sharing my screen to get a better look at it.
There's a clue right here.
Oh, is this from a TV show that I haven't seen?
Different branch of the city. It's Parks and Rec.
Oh, Parks and Rec. Yeah, my wife didn't like Parks and Rec, so naturally we didn't watch it.
Oh, that was a fun show.
I've seen a couple episodes, but my wife wasn't a big fan. So apparently I'm not a big fan either. You know how that works.
Yeah. So what are we working on today?
Well, today I thought I would show everybody, and I don't know, I need to move this. There we go. I'm moving the screen sharing bar so I can get to my tabs on my desktop here. I've got a patron loaded up here that I've created a Hoopla account for, and I thought we would look at the Hoopla plugin.
Cool.
because I don't know. I know that you guys don't use Hoopla here, but a lot of libraries do. And so I thought I would show everybody the Hoopla plugin and give everybody some basic information about it. So
Yeah, that would be awesome.
I'm gonna, yeah, I'm gonna flip over to the Neckles test server, and while I'm looking up the things that I need, I'll say, you know, we've had Hoopla at Northeast Kansas Library System for quite a while now, at least 6 or 7 years, I think. And the way that we used to handle Hoopla, you know, you can just use Hoopla. You can get a subscription to Hoopla. You can become a member and start using the service, and you don't need to do anything to your catalog. But what that means is that your catalog is going to sit over here, and your Hoopla system is going to sit over here. And if patrons want to search Hoopla, they have to go to Hoopla, and if they want to search your catalog, they have to go to your catalog. And that's not really a very satisfying experience for your patrons. So what we did when I got to Northeast Kansas Library System is once a month, I was downloading a whole bunch of MARC records from Hoopla and putting them into our catalog. And that way, when our patrons did a search in our catalog, they could see that it was a Hoopla item, and then they would click a link, and then that would take them to the Hoopla website where they could then sign into their Hoopla account and download the thing that they were looking for.
Great.
So this meant that every month I was downloading a bunch of MARC records. I wasn't downloading all of the Hoopla MARC records because Hoopla has a ton of content. So I was just downloading the MARC records for their graphic novel collection and their video collection and their TV collection, but I was only downloading the top 500 records for ebooks and audiobooks and music, because the Hoopla collection, if I downloaded everything, then our catalog, when you search Next Search Catalog, it was going to be 80% Hoopla materials and only 20% materials in our library. And that didn't seem very satisfying.
Right.
So what we did is I'm going to go to our test server right now, and I'll do a search for, I'll just do a search for dogs, because that's a good search to start off with, really general, broad search.
And generally,
so, yeah, generally you're going to find something. So this search returns 17,654 results. And I am on my test server, which is really not a very fast server. In just a second or two, we'll see now that there's 13,960 results in Hoopla. So this is a lot like the Overdrive feature that some libraries use, where when you do the search in Koha, it's also submitting a search externally to Hoopla through the API, and it's getting these results back. And this is the way it displays in Koha. And then we can click on this and we'll see, here are the results in Hoopla. And if we click on one of these, it'll pop Hoopla open in a different window. And then we can sign into Hoopla and do that there. So the plugin in itself, we installed the plugin. And the major thing you need to do with the plugin is go in and configure it. And this is the part that you have to talk to Midwest Tapes about. You have to give a default library ID. And then for us, you know, because we have 50 branches, you have to go in and you have to know the Hoopla number, the Hoopla ID number for each branch. I'm showing you this on our test server where I took out all of the branch information so nobody can go in and try to use our Hoopla data. The only number you can see there is the Northeast Kansas Library System Hoopla ID, which doesn't have any impact on any. If somebody wants to use it, that's fine. There's 0 checkouts allowed on that account. So it's not going to do you any good.
So I'm assuming that if you're logged in as a different library and you have an ID in there, are you gonna just see that library's results? Or are you going to see that library's results and the default, or how does that work?
You'll see your Hoopla is kind of tricky because we're using strictly Hoopla 1.0. Hoopla, there's two different levels of Hoopla. Hoopla 1.0 is the pay by download model of Hoopla. So the content is all the same. Hoopla, in this respect, for a small library, is a really great, has a really big advantage that you don't have to purchase any content and decide what's going to be in the Hoopla collection. You know, some of our really small libraries, they're only open 20, 25 hours a week, and their director is a part-time employee who also cleans the bathrooms and does all that kind of stuff. So if they had to build a collection in Hoopla, that'd just be too much work for them. But Hoopla 1.0, you don't do any of the collection building, you just join Hoopla and the content is all 100% there. There is a new level of Hoopla called Hoopla 2.0, and I do not know if any of our member libraries are in Hoopla 2.0 yet, but that allows you to have the older titles in Hoopla that everybody has access to, but then it also allows you to maybe purchase some more competitive, more recent titles. That's the big reason that Hoopla is able to provide such a huge body, you know, like 500,000 titles. But it's because they're all older titles. You're not going to see any brand new bestsellers in there. Hoopla, most of the content in Hoopla is good content, but it's not like the most current content. So the other side of Hoopla, I'm going to log into one of my test accounts here. Let me get this.
So obviously you have to plug in your library or branch IDs in Hoopla. I imagine there's a place, I can't remember if you showed, there must be a place where you point to Hoopla, or do you have to? Is it just know where to find it?
Yeah, it knows where to find it. It's part of the plugin. It's built into the plugin.
Oh, okay.
So this plugin only works with Hoopla, and when it's configured, it goes straight to the Hoopla API. So
okay, easy.
If I were to, let me log into this borrower's account. I'm going to go to my live system now instead of the test server. So when a patron is logged into their account, on their summary page, they'll see this tab now for the Hoopla account. And it'll actually link out to Hoopla, and it shows that this borrower has one item checked out. And if we flip over to Hoopla, I'm going to log them into their Hoopla account now. So I'm logging into Hoopla now. Hoopla always uses an email address and a password. It doesn't use your card. The only time it'll ask for your card number is when you sign up. And then it uses a SIP connection to verify that you're authorized to create an account with Hoopla through that library. And then everything you check out, like this book that I borrowed here, is going to be billed to the Atchison Public Library, because that's where this patron's home library is. But then from now on in there, on this Hoopla tab, I'll be able to see what I've got checked out on Hoopla. And if I do a search, like if I do a search for, if I do a search here for Teen Titans in Next Search Catalog Live, it's going to give me, there are two things that it's going to do. Is it is going to give me this found 953 results in Hoopla, but I've also, in the test server, it was just text. But what I've done here is I've added some jQuery to put a box around that text and put in the Hoopla logo. But if I click on these 953 results in Hoopla, I'll show you, this one's a good one to check out. If I just find the title and click on checkout, Now, if I go back to my tab on my account, it'll now show that I've got two things checked out in Hoopla. It's New Teen Titans, the Judas Contract, and the
That's
Crimea
great.
War. So it's really, it's a really slick way of connecting the Hoopla content with your catalog without having to do all that bulk mark record importation. And it also allows the patron to be able to control their Hoopla account without having to leave your catalog. So there's still a lot of great things you can do over on the Hoopla website, but having everything centralized into one place is really convenient. And there are plugins like this. The Overdrive, the way that Overdrive works was created before there were plugins in Koha, and so it's built into Koha. But there's also one for 3M Cloud. It'd be really nice if we had a plugin like this for Canopy, which I think depends a lot on Canopy, which I guess Canopy has just recently been sold to Overdrive. So we'll see how Canopy changes coming up here now that it's part of the Overdrive family of services. But I'll also, let me flip over, and I haven't posted this on the jQuery library yet, but I'll show you the jQuery I used to make that, to restyle that banner from this to having the logo next to it. So I'm going to move our faces over here. But this is the jQuery right here. It's doing a check container, and it's looking for the, if the Hoopla results container is visible, then it's going to add some CSS to pad it out, and then it's going to stick a banner in there. A banner which is stored on our GitHub site.
Okay.
And so I'll post this on the jQuery library. And the reason that it's doing a check container is because, when we do that first search, and it took forever for that thing to load because it's on the test server. Like, let's do a search now for cats. The reason that it's having to check that container, there's an if-then statement in here. So it's the jQuery runs as soon as the page loads, but then we see that little spinning wheel there because the content isn't loaded yet. And so jQuery can't do anything to that content that isn't there.
Right.
So it's going to keep checking for when it's finished. And then when it's finished, it's going to style that. And I don't have that code on the test server, but when we do the same search in the production server where I do have the jQuery running, it's doing the search, and then as soon as it finds the results, it goes ahead and it throws the jQuery in there to add the div and the banner for the Hoopla content. So
that's great. Yeah, I was going to say that's something that we do with Overdrive, because that text just gets lost up there, and
yeah,
so this way, you can make that stand out a little bit better and draw attention to it. And so, yeah, we stick a banner right next to Overdrive. I'm not sure if the technique is exactly the same, but yeah, I've had to learn how to figure out when that content was there, and then add that banner next to it. So
my guess is that the way that your Overdrive styling works is really similar to the way my Hoopla styling works, because I think that I stole the Hoopla styling from you when I worked at Latah County Library, and I used that as the basis for how I did the Hoopla styling. So my guess is they're pretty similar.
I was going to say, if we looked at what I have right now, you have the same framing and same background color behind. It's like, yeah. I think we are using the same thing.
Probably, yeah. And I also, kicking back to other things that we've talked about, if I do a search in Next Search Catalog for ebook, there will probably be some Hoopla results, but I use that. Ebook is one of the keywords I have to add a placard in Spot that we talked about in that other one where we were talking about the placards that you use for your magazine collections. So I should, I'm using a different banner there, a different Hoopla logo. To be consistent, I should probably make them the same, shouldn't I?
You could. I mean, it doesn't look bad.
No, it doesn't look bad. No. So that's the Hoopla plugin.
All right. Well, that's great. I'm glad to see that more APIs are making it into the plugins so that we can integrate content and see that content. Because I mean, what you're showing, there's some slight variations, but what you're showing with Hoopla, it looks very similar to what they did with Overdrive, and I was very happy when they were able to incorporate the APIs and plugins into that and have a little bit more information than just these results that pops you over to an account. It's nice that you can actually see those checkouts and what's going on in that account straight from the catalog, and not have to bounce between different sites.
We should, for a future video, we should have Jason Robb from Southeast Kansas Library System talk about the Cloud Library plugin, because they use that there.
Yeah.
So we should both contact Jason and keep badgering him until he agrees to do a video with us.
We'll see what we can do.
All right.
All right. Well, thank you, George. I appreciate your time on your time off, and we'll see everybody next time.
See y'all later.